Hello students, moving on to the next topic in the second unit, that is solutions. So we are going to learn about Henry's law, which describes about solutions of gases and liquids. Okay, so this is a short answer question which can be asked for just 2 marks students, but it is an important question. Okay, so put aside heading solutions of gases in liquids hyphen Henry's law. Solutions of gases in liquids hyphen Henry's law. So students, we all know that most of the gases, they are soluble in water and also some other liquids to a certain extent. Okay, now this solubility of gases in various liquids is influenced by various factors like pressure, temperature, nature of the gas and nature of the liquid in which it's being dissolved. Okay, but when we look at all these factors, pressure is the most important one which is influencing solubility of a gas in a liquid. Okay, so what Henry did, he has taken various gases, various liquids and checked to what extent a gas is being dissolved in a particular liquid. Okay, so he has jotted down all the values at so and so pressure, particular amount of gas is being dissolved in this much amount of liquid. Okay, so he has drawn a table and he has noted down all the values. Now whatever results were obtained by doing this experiment, he has put together in the form of a law and called it as Henry's law. Okay, and this Henry's law, if we look at the statement of Henry's law, which tells us that amount of a gas dissolved in a particular amount of a solvent is directly proportional to pressure of the gas which is in equilibrium with the liquid. Okay students, so in a short way I explained Henry's law, but in a detailed way I have written on the board. I will read out for you so that you can note down in your notebook students. Okay, ready? Write down. Most of the gases are soluble in water, and other liquids to some extent, full stop. This solubility of a gas in a liquid, is influenced by factors like pressure, temperature, nature of the gas and nature of the liquid. Pressure, temperature, nature of the gas and nature of the liquid. Full stop. Below write down. Out of these factors, effect of pressure is the most important one, is the most important factor influencing solubility of a gas in a liquid at a particular temperature. Full stop. Below write down. This effect of pressure on solubility of different gases in various liquids at different pressures. So what did he study, Henry? He has studied the effect of pressure on solubility of different gases in various liquids at different pressures. So how many he has taken into consideration? Different gases, different liquids and different pressures. Okay, so he has performed the experiment taking different gases, checked their solubility in different liquids by changing the pressure value. Okay, so again repeating this sentence, this effect of pressure on solubility of different gases in various liquids at different pressures was studied by Henry. Full stop. Below write down. The results obtained are generalized in the form of a law called as Henry's law, which can be stated as start put inverted commas and start the statement, students. The amount of a gas dissolved in a given amount of a liquid at constant temperature. So he did not change the temperature. At constant temperature is directly proportional to the amount of a gas dissolved in a given amount of a liquid at constant temperature is directly proportional to pressure of the gas present in equilibrium with the liquid. Close the inverted commas. Below write down M proportional to P, amount of the gas directly proportional to pressure of the gas. Okay, small m proportional to capital P. So if we remove the proportionality, we introduce a constant K, which is called as Henry's law constant. M is equal to K into P. So we will describe the term, students, where M is amount or mass of the gas dissolved in unit volume of the solvent, comma, capital P, pressure of the gas in equilibrium with the liquid or solvent, and K is Henry's law constant. Okay, so this is about statement of Henry's law, students. Fine. Below write down limitations. There are some limitations for this Henry's law. That means a few conditions are to be fulfilled for this Henry's law to be valid. Okay. Limitations of Henry's law. Underline the side heading. Henry's law is valid. Only if the following conditions are fulfilled. Written. Number 1. Pressure of the gas should be low and temperature should be high. These conditions we have come across in the first semester gaseous state. There we have seen a gas tends to be ideal at these conditions. Okay, so pressure should be low and temperature should be high. That is the gas which is taken into consideration or whose solubility is being checked for Henry's law. There that gas should behave as an ideal gas. Only under these conditions the gas behaves as an ideal gas. That is the first condition to be fulfilled. Second one, the gas should be slightly soluble. Second one, students, the gas should be slightly soluble in the liquid and should neither dissociate or associate nor react with the solvent. Should neither undergo association or dissociation in the solvent nor react with the solvent. So when gas is, when we are checking the solubility of a particular gas in a particular solvent, students, so it should not undergo association or it should not undergo dissociation or it should not react with the solvent in which it is being dissolved. Okay, so this is one more condition to be followed. So these are the two conditions. Next, below write down. Thus, Thus, Henry's law is valid. Henry's law is valid. Thus, Henry's law is valid for solubility of HCl and NH3, HCl and NH3 in benzene, hydrogen chloride and ammonia in benzene, but not in water. That means Henry's law is not valid or not applicable for the solubility of these two gases in water. Okay, but when the solvent is taken benzene, then Henry's law is valid. Okay, why? Because they are sparingly soluble in benzene. This is because both the gases, that is HCl gas and ammonia, are sparingly soluble in benzene. That's what the second condition. Gases should be slightly soluble in the solvent. Sparingly soluble in benzene and highly soluble in water. Okay. So below we will show in the form of the reaction. Take ammonia, add water, NH3 plus H2O. Students, this is the solvent, this is the gas. Okay. So we are checking solubility of NH3 in water. It should not dissolve completely, or it should not react with the solvent. But what is happening here, when we are adding water to ammonia, it's being dissolved and forming NH4OH, and this NH4OH in turn dissociates into NH4 plus and OH minus ions. Okay. Next reaction, HCl plus H2O. This also dissolves in water and forming H3O plus and Cl minus, hydronium ion and chloride ion. Therefore, Henry's law is not valid for the solubility of NH3 and HCl in water, but it is applicable for the solubility of NH3 and HCl in benzene, because they are slightly soluble in benzene. So this is about Henry's law, students. So draw a line till here. This will be asked as a short answer question. So students, next topic, partially miscible liquids. So we have completed completely miscible liquids. Later we have seen solutions of gases in liquids. After that we have partially miscible liquids. Okay, so there are a number of liquid pairs, students, which when we observe, they are partially miscible or they are partially getting mixed up with one another. Okay, for example, if we take two liquids, phenol and water, these two liquids come under the example of we can take or we can quote this as an example under partially miscible liquids. Okay, so let me tell you, take a bucket full of water and add a little drop of phenol into it. Okay, then what happens? Without even heating, at normal temperatures, we find that we observe that that drop of phenol gets completely dissolved in bucket full of water. Okay, so and suppose if we increase the phenol, the amount of phenol, okay, slowly if we continue the addition of phenol in the same amount of water, what happens? There we reach a certain stage at which phenol cannot dissolve in water. So rather what happens there, we can observe two different layers in the beaker. That is like this, they will be separated, students, the two liquids, or we can find two solutions of different composition. Those two solutions or those two layers will be like this. So what are the two liquids that we have taken? Phenol and water. When we have taken one drop, it got dissolved completely without even heating at normal temperatures. Later what did we do? We increased the amount of the organic compound slowly, and there reached a stage where it cannot now dissolve in water, the organic compound. Rather we find two different layers in the beaker. What are these two layers, students? Like they will be separated like this. One layer will be some part of organic compound in more amount of water and some part of water in organic compound. So like this, two different layers we can observe in the beaker. One is aqueous layer and the other one is organic layer. So when do we call aqueous layer? When the portion of water is high, we call it as aqueous layer. When the portion of the organic compound is high, we call it as organic layer. Okay, now these two are different layers of two layers of different composition. So such solutions we call them as conjugate solutions. So they are not mixing up when they are almost in equal proportions. But these two partially miscible layers, students, they can be made completely miscible. That means the whole solution, see, look here, I have drawn two different layers. So even though they are partially miscible with one another, even though they are getting separated into two different layers of different composition, we can make them completely miscible at a certain temperature. It might be by heating, or that is by increasing the temperature, or by cooling, that is by decreasing the temperature. But at one particular temperature, the two partially miscible liquids can be made completely miscible. That means the system can be made homogeneous even though they are partially miscible. So such temperature we call it as CST, students, that is critical solution temperature or consolute temperature. And this CST is of two types, lower CST and upper CST. Lower CST means the temperature below which the two partially miscible liquids are completely miscible, and this can be obtained by cooling the system or decreasing the temperature. Whereas upper CST means the temperature above which the two partially miscible liquids are can be made completely miscible, and this can be obtained by increasing the temperature or heating the system. This is a brief introduction about partially miscible liquids and also CST, that is critical solution temperature. Okay, so now write down the points in your notebook, students. There are a number of liquid pairs. Now you will while writing, just try to follow whatever I have explained. There are a number of liquid pairs. There are a number of liquid pairs which are partially miscible with one another. Which are partially miscible with one another. For example, if little phenol is added to water, at normal temperatures, it gets dissolved completely. It gets dissolved completely, full stop. If we continue the addition, that means if we increase the amount of phenol, if we continue the addition, a stage is reached where it cannot dissolve further in water. It means what here? Phenol. Where it cannot dissolve further in water, and two layers are formed. And two layers will be formed, full stop. One layer is saturated solution of organic compound in water, saturated solution of organic compound in water, and the other is water in organic compound. So aqueous and organic layers. So just I have shown two figures, students, here just for your understanding. Here one drop of phenol gets completely dissolved. So there when we increase the amount of phenol, it cannot be dissolved when there are almost equal amounts and they will be divided into two layers. One is aqueous and the other one is organic layer. So next below write down such solutions of different composition, coexisting with one another are called as conjugate solutions. Full stop. The two layers of a conjugate solution the two layers of a conjugate solution are completely miscible at a certain temperature, at a particular temperature, full stop. This temperature at which the two partially miscible liquids become completely miscible is called as critical solution temperature. Underline, students, brackets CST. Have you written? Or consolute temperature, CONSOLUT, CST or consolute temperature, full stop. Below write down LCST, that is lower critical solution temperature, is the temperature below which the two partially miscible liquids become completely miscible, and this is obtained by cooling the system or decreasing the temperature. Same like UCST, students, upper critical solution temperature is the temperature above which the two partially miscible liquids become completely miscible, and this can be obtained by heating the system or increasing the temperature. So this is the brief introduction about CST or consolute temperature and also partially miscible liquids. Okay, students, now under this we have three important systems. So we will start with the first system. Kindly put the side heading systems with upper critical solution temperature. Systems with upper CST, or simply you can write UCST, under which we are taking the example phenol water system. Systems with UCST hyphen phenol water system. So as we have seen in the introduction of partially miscible liquids, students, when we take roughly equal amounts of the two partially miscible liquids, what happens? We find two layers forming in the beaker, which is one is the aqueous layer and the other one is organic layer. So similarly here also, when we are taking roughly equal amounts of water and phenol, there will be two layers forming, namely phenol in water and water in phenol. Full stop. Write down, students. When roughly equal amounts of phenol and water are mixed, two layers are formed, namely phenol in water and water in phenol. Full stop. Okay. The two layers are completely miscible. The two layers are completely miscible at a certain temperature, which was observed to be 66 degrees centigrade. 66 degrees centigrade. So this is the UCST of this system, students. Okay, full stop. At this temperature, composition was found to be 34% phenol and 66% water. At this temperature, the composition was found to have 34% phenol and 66% water. So students, take a pencil and scale. Please draw this graphical representation, students. So the two liquids taken here are phenol and water. So we are taking the mixture like this, starting with 100% water and 0% phenol. As we are moving from this side to right side, water slowly, gradually decreases and phenol gradually increases. So by the time we reach that side, phenol becomes 100% and water becomes 0%. So at various compositions, when we are checking the temperatures, at which temperature, which composition is soluble, then it was observed that at 66 degrees centigrade, the two partially miscible liquids, that is phenol and water, are completely miscible in all proportions. And students, 66 and above 66, whatever may be the composition, as you like, if you take 50, 40 or 40, 50, whatever it is, in all proportions, both the liquids phenol and water will be completely miscible. So here just trying to show you the graphical representation. When a graph is plotted between temperature and composition, a parabolic curve is obtained like this. So students, write down, and here if we observe, the composition will have 30% phenol, as we have learned just now. Below the graph, write down, students, few points which we can infer from the graphical representation. Write down. Above 66 degrees centigrade, the two liquids are completely miscible in all proportions. Full stop. When a graph is plotted between composition of phenol and water and temperature. So graph plotted between composition and temperature, a parabolic curve is obtained. Full stop. Below write down point number 1. At and above 66 degrees centigrade, phenol and water are completely miscible, whatever may be the composition, or in all proportions. So above this temperature, above 66, the two partially miscible liquids are completely miscible, whatever may be the composition. Students, above 66, at and above 66, they are getting mixed up. Therefore, we call this as UCST. Next point number 2. Below 66 degrees centigrade, if the composition lies within the range of below 66 degrees centigrade, if the composition lies within the range of the parabolic curve. So inside the parabolic curve. So in that range, if the composition lies below 66 students, then we can find the two layers which exist in equilibrium with one another. Okay? Next, point number 3. Below 66 degrees centigrade, if the composition lies outside the curve, we can say that there exists only one layer. So students, in the graph we have mentioned 2 points. Left side of the curve as A and right side of the curve as B. So that's what we have written in words, students, here. If the composite, for example, if the composition lies on left side of the curve denoted by the letter A, it represents. So A means we started with 100% water and 0% phenol. So phenol, little amount of phenol is there, more amount of water is there. Okay. So that means phenol is completely dissolved in water, and that layer we call it as phenol in water. So if the composition is lying outside the range of the parabolic curve, and also if you look at the left side portion of the curve, that means water is in more proportions and phenol is in less amount. Therefore, it represents solution of phenol in water. And if the composition lies that side, right side of the curve, denoted by the letter B, it represents, you tell me students, at the other side which one is more? Phenol is more and water is less. Therefore that layer we call it as water and phenol. Very good. So if the composition lies right side the curve B, it is solution of water and phenol. Full stop. Okay. So this is the way we describe about the graph. Below write down. The mutual solubility of the two partially miscible liquids. The mutual solubility of the two partially miscible liquids increases with increasing temperature or heating the system. Second one, systems with lower critical solution temperature. Systems with LCST, example, triethylamine water system. Before going into this, now tell me, do you remember what LCST is? Tell me what CST is. Do you remember? CST is the temperature at which the two partially miscible liquids get completely miscible with one another. This can be obtained either by heating or cooling the system. And if the two partially miscible liquids are miscible by heating the system or above a certain temperature, if the two liquids are miscible, then it is called as UCST. And if the two partially miscible liquids are getting mixed up below a certain temperature, that temperature is called as lower CST. Okay. So here first we have seen systems with upper CST, that is phenol water system, and the UCST of that system was found to be 66 and above 66 degrees centigrade. Here LCST, so the mutual solubility of the two liquids, from the word LCST itself we understand that the mutual solubility of triethylamine and water increases with the decrease in temperature. That means this mutual solubility is obtained by cooling the system. Again, taking roughly equal amounts of triethylamine and water, there forms two layers. One is triethylamine in water and the other one is water in triethylamine. And these two layers get completely mixed up at a certain temperature, and that was found as 18.5 degrees centigrade, which is LCST of this system. And this is obtained, or the mutual solubility is obtained by cooling the system to 18.5 degrees centigrade. And at and below 18.5, these two liquids are completely miscible in all proportions. And the same thing as we have done for the first system, here also a graph is plotted between composition and temperature. But here the composition of two liquids, that is water and triethylamine, is taken into consideration. So we start the experiment by taking 100% water and 0% triethylamine. Okay, as we are moving from left to right, water percentage will be decreased and triethylamine percentage will be increased. Okay. And also, as we have seen for the first system, here also the same way we explain, students. What is that there? The first point was at and above 66. Here we should mention at and below 18.5, the two liquids are completely miscible in all proportions, that is whatever may be the composition. Next point will be above 18.5 degrees centigrade. If the composition lies inside the curve, inside the range of the curve, we can find two layers again in equilibrium. If the composition lies outside the curve, above 18.5 degrees centigrade, there exists only one layer. If it is left side of the curve represented by A, it is triethylamine in water. If it is right side of the curve represented by B, it is water in triethylamine. So first system when you are learning, it looks like little complicated and little confusing. But by the time you study the second system, it will be dead easy for you. And just looking at the diagram, you can write down the points like that. Okay, so write down the mutual solubility of the two liquids increases with decreasing temperature. Full stop. So many of you might have written while I am explaining itself, right? So if you have completed writing, then please read it once again, students. Those who have not written, please kindly follow me. Thus, cooling of such a system to a particular temperature causes the two components to become completely miscible. TO2 to become completely miscible. Full stop. Thus, cooling of such a system to a particular temperature causes the two components to become completely mixed up. Full stop. This temperature was observed to be 18.5 degrees centigrade brackets LCST. Full stop. When a graph is plotted between composition of water and triethylamine. I have used a shortcut here. Triethylamine, simply I just have written TEA. Composition of water and triethylamine and temperature. The graph obtained is as follows, as shown below. The graph obtained is, or the following graph is obtained. So below, take a scale, pencil, draw this graph. X-axis composition, y-axis temperature, and the curve obtained is like that, students. Inside the curve, you can write down two layers in equilibrium. Outside the curve, below 18.5, it is one layer, students. Students, there is difference between this one layer and this one layer. This one layer means whatever composition you take, the system looks homogeneous. But A represents triethylamine in water, B represents water in triethylamine. Okay, little amount of this side, little amount of triethylamine in water. That side B represents little amount of water in triethylamine. If the composition is like that, that means very little amount of the organic compound this side, and that side very little amount of water. Okay, that composition only one layer. But below 18.5, whatever may be the composition, we can find only one layer. That means below 18.5, in all proportions, the two liquids are completely miscible. So by this time, I think you might have completed the graph. Okay, below write down point number 1. At and below 18.5 degrees centigrade, the two liquids are completely miscible in all proportions. There we have written at and above 66. Okay. So there the miscibility increases, mutual solubility increases with increase in temperature. Here it increases with decrease in temperature. That is, the system is homogeneous. Next point number 2. There we have mentioned below 66. Here we should mention above 18.5. Above 18.5 degrees centigrade. If the composition lies within the curve, comma, there exist two layers in equilibrium. Third point. Above 18.5 degrees centigrade. If the composition lies outside the curve, above 18.5 degrees centigrade, if the composition lies outside the curve, there exists only one layer. Comma. For example, composition lies on left side of the curve, if the composition lies left side of the curve, brackets A, it represents triethylamine in water, and if it lies right side the curve, brackets B, small letter b, comma, it represents water in triethylamine, full stop. So this is all about systems with LCST, under which we have the example triethylamine water system. Third one, you might be wondering, first one is systems with UCST, second one systems with LCST. Then what would be the third one? Yeah. So the third one is systems with both UCST and LCST students. Okay. So the mutual solubility of the two liquids under this system will increases with increase as well as a decrease in temperature. Okay. So write down systems with upper as well as lower critical solution temperature. Example students, nicotine water system, underline. The mutual solubility of the two liquids, increases with increase as well as decrease in temperature. That is these liquids are completely miscible. At a certain higher temperature, which is called as UCST, and as well as at a certain lower temperature, that is LCST. These liquids are completely miscible at a certain higher temperature UCST as well as at a certain lower temperature, that is LCST. Full stop. And between these two temperatures, what are these two temperatures means? Upper CST and lower CST. There will be two partially miscible layers. Between these two temperatures, they are partially miscible with one another. Okay. Why? Because at and above UCST, at and below LCST, the two liquids are completely miscible in all proportions. But between these two temperatures, UCST and LCST, the two liquids are partially miscible. Okay, students, below write down the plot between temperature and composition. The plot between temperature and composition gives a closed curve. Full stop. Below write down the system has UCST brackets. How much students? 208 degrees centigrade, at which the mixture contains 32% nicotine and the remaining portion will be of water, and LCST brackets 61 degrees centigrade, LCST 208 and 61 degrees centigrade, at which the mixture contains 22% nicotine and the remaining portion will be of water. Full stop. Below write down within the closed curve there exist two layers and outside the curve there exists only one layer. Full stop. Below show the graphical representation students between composition and temperature. So we started with 100% water 0% nicotine. By the time we reach here, water becomes 0 and nicotine becomes 100%. And two CSTs, lower CST 61 and upper CST 208 degrees centigrade. At and below 61 they are completely miscible. At and above 208 completely miscible. In between these two temperatures, inside the curve there will be two layers, and also between these two temperatures, suppose if you are considering this portion, it will be nicotine in water. Between these two temperatures, outside this side if we are taking into consideration, it will be water in nicotine. And at and below 61 completely miscible whatever the composition. At and above 208 one layer system is homogeneous whatever may be the composition. So you need not write all these points here, just draw the graph and mention all these points. Okay, have you drawn the graph, ma? Carefully note down the temperatures. This is LCST and this is UCST. Below write down, students, effect of pressure on CST in these systems. Effect of pressure on CST in these systems. In these systems means which have both LCST and UCST. Okay, write down. With increase in pressure, LCST gradually increases and UCST gradually decreases. UCST is how much? 208. LCST is how much? 61. So UCST will be gradually coming down, LCST will be gradually coming up until they meet at one point. That means they become 1 point at one stage finally. Okay. So what does that mean? This 208 coming down, 61 going up, they are meeting at one point. What does it mean? With increase in pressure, the two partially miscible liquids are completely miscible at all temperatures in all proportions. That means we have observed that the plot has given us a closed curve. So 208 coming down, 61 going up. That means the closed curve also gets compressed and becomes a point. Okay, write down the second paragraph. With increase in pressure, the closed area becomes smaller and smaller and finally becomes a point. That is what do we understand? At high pressures, the two liquids are completely miscible at all temperatures in all proportions. Full stop. Okay, so draw a line till here, students. This is all under solutions of gases in liquids. Henry's law is a separate question mark. Next comes partially miscible liquids, under which we have seen CST and types of CST, and also the three systems with UCST, with LCST, and with both UCST and LCST. You will not be asked write down all the three systems. You will be asked only to describe about any one system. Okay, students. So draw a line till here. So we have completed partially miscible liquids. So we'll meet in the next class with a new topic. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.